Arabe YouTube? It is your boy Charles, and today we're going to be talking about the Scorched number 38. This was a very, very good issue of the Scorched, and you got to meet two of the characters more in depth. We start with a flashback of Jessica Priest, her pre-spawn life, and we find out that she had, I believe it's not really specified. I believe it may be a child or a younger relative, but definitely had a life that she really was looking forward to achieving. And her spawn powers, while they gave her the invincibility and the power to fight for good and essentially made her a superhero, it took part of her, that part of her that hoped for normalcy. And if you've been reading along, you know that in Spawn 350, the War for Hell's Throne ended with Greenworld, Nyx primarily taking the throne, and then the dead zones opened all throughout the earth, which caused spawns and angels to lose their powers on earth. And so for, I would say, a good maybe 10 issues throughout the Spawn universe, they were mortal. They were unpowered, and they could die, and they could get injured, and there were real stakes going on. And come to find out, this was something that Jessica Priest, she spawned, really looked forward to. But since the spawn powers came back, the dead zones closed because of Nyx and what she's doing. In the Spawn main book, you'll get into more depth there. All of the spawns and angels now have their powers, their immortality, and it really does bring up an interesting point. In these books, often the heroes are portrayed as, they are willing to use what they have to do for, to fight for good. And they seem oftentimes pretty much ambivalent to the loss of mortality, but it is something that really affected her. And so that's a nice touch. And the art is spectacular, as it is through all of these books, especially in the action sequences, the brightness of the blood, and she spawns spawn suit really, really pop, especially against Redeemer's blue and gold motif, which stands out brilliantly with the darkness that you get in these Spawn books. And the main battle throughout the book is between the Viscerator and She-Spawn. I believe the Viscerator is actually a sibling of the Violator. So that is a very interesting twist and a new character. I'm going to try not to give away too many spoilers, but this is pivotal in my opinion. The next character we actually get to know is Medieval Spawn. We know that when he was ripped through time into the present, that he possessed Rosen, this guy who's like their tech support of the Spawn team. And pretty much when Medieval Spawn takes over, Rosen disappears. And when Rosen is back, that means that Spawn has regressed into his mind. And this religious group, they call themselves the Black Brotherhood, are trying to extract Medieval Spawn from Rosen's psyche to use them for their will. And so that is how we got She-Spawn and Redeemer in this battle with Viscerator to rescue Rosen and Medieval Spawn. A lot of moving parts here. Great writing, dialogue, big action-filled panels throughout the entire book. And then one thing that I really appreciated at the end is it ends much the same way it started, with Jessica, not in her spawn form, looking at a picture of what could have been and lamenting that life. And a very, very, very good issue, in my opinion. I think this may be setting up the Rumor She-Spawn book that I've heard rumors that it's going to be happening. I haven't seen any advertisements. I haven't seen any stories on it. But I'm really hoping that they give She Spawn her own book, and I don't think it would really affect too much of what's going on in the Scorched because Gunslinger Spawn bounces in and out of the Scorched books while having his own, actually two different books, and Al Simmons Spawn kind of bounces between all of the books, and so I think that a She Spawn book could really just expand this universe. And the great thing about the team that is behind all of these Spawn books is they have a variety of writers, artists, colorists, but they're all guided by the hand of the creator of Spawn to this day, Todd McFarlane, who is actually, if not writing certain issues, at least co-writing certain issues. And so that the vision that you have throughout all of the different books, be it Violator, The Scorch, Gunslinger Spawn, Spawn, King Spawn, um, Rat City, the new book featuring Nyx, they're all, you know, connected via Todd McFarlane. So you have a very expanded universe that has no inconsistencies, which is a nice, it's a nice change of pace because, with Marvel, for instance, a lot of times when you're reading a Spider-Woman book, she will be working with the Avengers or with this or with that, and there's a whole different contradictory storyline. But with this, everything fits like a glove because of the guiding hand of Todd McFarlane. So that's my thoughts on the Scorch number 38 from Image Comics. It is a definite pivotal issue, and it seems like it'd be a great place to start now that the team is all back together and they have their powers back. So check it out from Image Comics. And the greatest thing about this, one of the greatest, is that all of these Spawn Universe titles, they have the $2.99 price point. It's not about getting a bunch of money from you, it's about getting out the best product they can and getting it into as many hands as possible. So that's why one of the many reasons I feel good about getting everything within the extended Spawn universe. So get yours today at your local comic book store. And if you do not have a local comic book store, I always suggest Coffee and a Comic. They have nationwide shipping, great prices, and outstanding customer service. They're located in Huntington Beach, but they have a very easy to use website. Like I said, they ship nationwide, so check them out. Also, you can check out if you're here locally in Casper, Spellbound, Apothecary, and Entertainment. They are a newer local comic book store here in Casper, Wyoming. Go check them out. They're in the Eastridge Mall. I know the owner for a really long time. He loves comics and loves serving his community. So check them out, and I'll see you next time. Until then, keep reading them books. I'm out.